Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening for our How to Have a Successful Meet an Arabian Horse seminar. My name's Savana Linder, and I'm the Marketing and National Events Coordinator for the Arabian Horse Association. And I'm joined by Michelle Werts, our local expert on hosting outreach events. And we will go ahead and get started with our presentation. I'll be going over some of the resources that we have here with AHA and some tips on hosting an event, and then we'll open up the floor to ask any questions on hosting your own event. So first up,
Sounds good.
overview of the content we'll be covering over this evening. I'll go ahead and get started with some introductions of Meet an Arabian Horse events, as well as discussing contacts, publicity, and then our toolkit resources, event checklist, follow-up, and then our Q&A session. First up, I wanted to give you all an overview of Meet an Arabian Horse Month, and it's kind of a one-size-fits-all month. You can craft this to fit your plans and your budget. It really depends on whatever you're working with. With that being said, Meet an Arabian Horse does start in May, but that's not to say you can't have an event later in the year. Our goal is to make sure we have a month dedicated to sharing the Arabian horse and getting people excited as we head into the spring and summer. We want to make sure you have the tools you need to have your events all year long. In our seminar, we'll be going over the marketing toolkit and resources we have in there for your own events, as well as hosting events at your barn and at your communities. If you're not looking to host an event, we are offering opportunities to participate virtually. We do offer weekly themes with challenges to participate in the month of May. I'll let you in on a little secret. We are going to be giving away a basic membership to someone who's actively participating in our challenges, so make sure to participate. We'll be announcing the themes later this month on social media and our newsletter, so be sure to keep an eye out. We're also going to be talking about how to run a successful event by utilizing event registration as well as a follow-up. We will talk about the tools involved and how you can use the program to not only promote the breed, but also to promote your barn's programs. So whether you're a discovery farm or you do lessons, or even if you're not a discovery farm and have a breeding program, these lessons can be, these events can be used to help create connections and grow your own programs. Our goal with this is to create an opportunity to help you grow and benefit you as well. Some of the hot topics we'll be discussing during the seminar are the basis behind Meet an Arabian Horse Month. You don't really need to have a huge facility or program to pull off a Meet an Arabian Horse event. You just have to have a love for the Arabian horse and want to share that with others. So the first thing to consider when hosting an event is how you're going to attract attendees to come to your Meet an Arabian Horse event. There are a few options you have when wanting to do this within your local communities. The first and easiest way to do this would be to create an event page on Facebook. This is a free tool, it's super easy to use, and you can even connect it to your farm's page as well. Once you get into Facebook, you can create an event and put all the information for your event, such as like the date, the time, location. You can add pictures and graphics from the marketing toolkit and start a discussion where you can send reminders to your attendees that the event's coming up. This is a great way to get your farm's name out into your local communities, but it also allows you an opportunity to share the event as well. This allows you to increase your reach to more people and gain more traction of your event. On the social side, social media is a great tool because it's a free marketing tool where you can use to share your event, create updates as you get closer, and then create an opportunity for people to follow and connect with your farm while they're at your event. Other opportunities that are not so social or digital are contacting those in your community, like the Visitors Bureau, local press, schools, Girl Scout and Boy Scout groups, nursing homes, etc. The Visitors Bureau is a great place to start because they can help you get more resources for your community, specifically, such as who to contact, where to get information, and where to even get started. Community pages can also be very helpful as well, whether that be online or on social media. There are many groups on Facebook, like Free Things to Do in My City or family activity pages, where you can share this event as well. The local press can be very helpful as well. Horses are a unique experience, especially Arabian horses, so many local press and papers are more inclined to want to cover these types of events. Lastly, our AHA website is the perfect place to share your event and probably the first place you should start to post your event too. We'll be sharing the events that are in our AHA calendar starting this month, so make sure you get your event in our calendar. You can register your event behind the member login or on our Meet an Arabian Horse page as well. There are a lot of opportunities to help share your events, and most of the time they're free. It might take a little extra time filling out forms or making a few phone calls, but I promise you it's worth it. Next up is our marketing toolkit. The toolkit was created by the local level committee, and it lives on the website under Discover and Outreach. I'll show you here in a second where you can find that on the website. We are going to continue to add to this toolkit, but it holds a plethora of items like an event checklist, downloadable graphics, forms, sponsorship letters, a succession plan, membership form, and a lot more. We tried to think of anything you could need for your event and put it all in one convenient location. All of these materials are meant to be used, so if you are someone who might not be as creative or might not know where to start, this toolkit's the perfect thing for you. Another thing you can do is request promotional materials, which is free for all of our members. We can send you things like guidebooks, maps, coloring sheets, stickers, and flyers for your request. We also have booths that include an 8x8 pop-up backdrop and a branded tablecloth that you can use. This is perfect for applications where you're going to be a promotional booth inside an event or even outside as a backdrop for your horse photos. You'll see that the toolkit also includes a grant application button. The application is currently under construction, but if you click the link, it will take you to a sign up where you can be signed up to notified when the application goes up. We hope to have the application open in the next 2 weeks. With this grant, we've been working with the local level committee as well as the market development and promotion committee to offer members the opportunity to apply for support when hosting these outreach events. There's an application process, but the opportunity arises itself to receive up to $1,000 towards your event. Now, we know things can be expensive, so we want to help you and help others who are trying to promote the Arabian horse. So I would encourage all of you to apply for this. So I'll take you guys over here and show you where you can find on our website. So once you reach our main website, arabianhorses.org, you're going to go to the Discover tab. Once you reach there, you can find it in a couple different places. The easiest way is if you click on the Outreach tab. And then if you head over to the toolkit at the top, or you can find it at the bottom, the marketing toolkit as well. You'll be able to check out all of the great items that we offer in the toolkit. So the membership form, the fillable flyers, the succession plan, all of the items that I just mentioned can be found in there, as well as things to help you on social media as well. Here's where you can request your promotional materials as well as the grant application. And you can see where you can input your information. So if you're interested in applying for that, you can put in your email and we'll email you as soon as the application is open.
And I will just add to what Savannah has said. If you are not signed up to be a Discovery Farm, I highly recommend it. We have actually, our club has almost all of our members are also signed up as a Discovery Farm. You do not have to be a lesson program. You do not have to be a boarding facility. We are not open to the public generally, and our farm is a Discovery Farm. We have small groups come out, usually just in conversation. Oh my gosh, you have an Arabian. I'd love to meet an Arabian. And the next thing I know, I have somebody coming out to see horses, which is a great opportunity. The Discovery Farm program is free. AHA will help you out. If you saw the email that Savannah sent out earlier this week, you can request your box, which is presented in the photo, and you can select what information you want to have on hand. I can't stress how popular the coloring sheets are. Those are a winner. not just little kids, some of the big kids also like to color on those sheets. So that's a great opportunity, and AHA will send you information quarterly. And again, it's free, so you have nothing to lose and everything to gain signing up. It's quick, it's easy, and that's also on the AHA homepage under Discover.
Thanks, Michelle. Next up, we're kind of gonna talk about what to kind of expect and plan for while you're in your event. Now, how do we cover how to plan for your event and what makes an event successful? Like any live event, the most important thing is having an easy to find location for people to check into your event. This can be where people can check into your event and gives your guests the reassurance that they're at the right location. This can be a welcome table with greeters, which allows people to feel welcome, where they can come to your event and give them guidance on what they can expect while attending your event. This is a great opportunity to check your guests in once they arrive. We've created an easy-to-use QR code that's located in the marketing toolkit where you can keep track of who comes to your events. Once your event is over, you can email marketing@arabianhorses.org and we can send you a full list of who attended your event. Having volunteers at your welcome table who know the layout and flow of your event can be very helpful so they can answer questions your guests may have when they first arrive. This welcome table may be one of the most important pieces at your event, making sure they know what materials they need and who's helping at the table ahead of them can create an easier flow for the rest of your event. Remember, this is the first time that many people are visiting your farm, and we want to make a good impression. After you welcome your guests, it's really up to you how you can structure your event. You can create a set of stations for your guests to follow, or you can create a structure of your events where everyone meets in one location and then they all take a tour together. This is also an option for everyone, this is also the option for a promotional booth at this event as well, which can turn your welcome table into a place where everyone can pick up their information, but it also is a location where everyone can ask the questions that they might have. These are just things to keep in mind when running an event and also planning your event. You want to think about how the guests will move through your event and how you want them to participate as well as what you want them to get out of it. I know we all think we can do everything on our own, but volunteers can help make your event successful. Before your event, make sure to inform all your volunteers about each of their jobs and what you can expect the day to look like, so they can be prepared to help you as well. It's also important to have good volunteers who know the Arabian horse as well. Sometimes people can ask really strange questions and they've never learned about an Arabian horse, so having an educated volunteer can be very helpful. The last thing you want is your guests to have something to take home with them. Now, this can be a physical item like promotional materials and goodie bags, but also thoughts about how we can continue to help them think about the Arabian horse. Do you want to make sure they each have some sort of contact information for your barn or club? And how will you provide that to them? Next, we're going to talk about some different ideas of ways you can structure and provide stations for your guests to flow through while at your event.
I'll speak to this. These are pictures from a couple of our events. The first picture, the top and bottom are our two horse stations. When we do our tractor supply event, it's usually our biggest event, and we'll have somewhere between 9 and 10 stations for people to visit. Sounds like a lot. It really doesn't take as many volunteers. And once people have volunteered once, they're kind of bit by the bug and they want to come back. So it's fun because we have different people in different positions. So as a planning side, I would tell you that your welcome table is where you want your most outgoing people. So that's where you want your extroverts that they've never met a stranger. We usually put my mom at that table, and we might be a little bit alike. And we have a couple of other folks in our club that are super outgoing, and that's where they get registered. We also do giveaways. which I'll talk to how we get those later. But we learned after our first event that you put the horses first, because otherwise people are going to go right past everything else. So once they've signed in at the welcome table, they get the lay of the land. We do everything in a counterclockwise motion. So they get to go pet and feed a treat, usually to Starsky, who is featured in the corral that Tractor Supply so kindly sets up for us. Then they move into line to get a picture with Barbancourt, and you can see the AHA backdrop in that picture. And that way they have gotten their hands on a horse, and everything past that is just gravy. They have literally gotten to touch a horse, and everything else is stars in the eyes. So we set up a big tent. So you can see the top middle pictures. We actually borrow mannequins from JCPenney, and the manager has been fantastic. We pick them up on Friday, we dress them Saturday morning, and we take them back Sunday or Monday. And so we dress the mannequins in all the different show clothes that we borrow from everybody in the club, because we all do different things. So there's a Native Arabian costume, there's my country pleasure suit, there's a distance riding shirt and jods, there's a Western outfit, there's a working Western, there's just all kinds of fun stuff. And it's fun for everyone in the club to get to participate with what they do with their Arabian, because we all do different things. We have an information table that has magazines and pictures, and we usually have samples of horse feed and a salt block. And I would say our most knowledgeable Arabian horse person is usually sitting at that table, because they can explain all of the questions. So if you have introverts who don't like to talk to people necessarily, you put them with the horses, because that's what brings us all together. And I would bet just about all of us can talk about our horses to anyone. And that way you've got the two ladies that normally handle the horses, that they would not be on this call for love nor money. And they are not outgoing, but boy, you put them with a horse and they can take someone that's never touched a horse and make it real and make it live. So that's a great fit for those folks in your, whether you're doing this in a barn or your club or whatever event you're doing. And then we have a goodie table, and we get sponsors to give us gift cards and all kinds of fun stuff. And then we stuff bags, and we give them bags as they're going out the door. We also have a face painter that normally comes, and kids can get their faces painted for free. Learned the hard way, put the face painter last. Otherwise you will be clogged up and have run over everywhere as the kids are waiting. We also had a slushy Hawaiian cone, snow cone type thing last year, put that at the end as well, but that gave people something to do while their kids were waiting in line to get their faces painted. The bottom, so that's the big event. If you've got half a dozen to a dozen volunteers, you can do multiple stations. I don't think we ever have more than 15 to 20 volunteers for all of our stations. I normally try and put 2 people with each horse. Doesn't always work that way. Sometimes we have 1. If you're doing a small meet an Arabian horse, the bottom right hand, that was the 2 stations. We had information table, and we had the horse in the backdrop for pictures and petting and treats. You can make it as big or as little, and people are going to enjoy it no matter what. So just keep that in mind, and that just kind of gives you an idea as to how big it can be or how small, because the bottom 2, there were 4 of us. And yes, it snowed that day. It really was that cold. That's why we are bundled up. But it was at a horse show. It was, we had to relocate because it really was that cold, and we had to have a wind block. So that's just kind of a little bit of information on what you can have available.
Perfect, Michelle. And did you want to get into talking about your flyers or your sponsorship forms?
Um, I can share my screen at the end and we can talk about that.
Perfect. So next up, your follow-up. You've had your completed event, you had a successful event. How do you follow up? Following up is probably one of the most important steps of an event. This is something you can get creative with, but it's also super important when it comes to capturing context from your event and offering second connections with people after your event. These people could be potential customers, clients, people who are interested in coming to more events at your farm. So this is super essential when it comes to hosting an event. I would recommend that after you finish your event, you contact us to receive the list of contacts from your QR code logins. From there, you can create a review survey. This can include questions about their experience during the event and if they have any recommendations on how to improve. This can help you make small tweaks with your event before having your next successful event next year. Capturing these emails and contacts is a fantastic way to also send them information about your club, farm, barn, because these people could also be potential members or people who want to get more involved with the Arabian breed. This could also be people who are starting to get interested in showing but aren't sure where to start, so sending them more information about your next show is also another great opportunity. You may even find people who want to be involved with the shows or events but might not have their own horse or are interested in volunteering. Many people don't know about the opportunities that are out there, so giving them a resource on where to find them can be extremely beneficial to not only you but them as well. Lastly, following up with people is an important thing to remember, but also remember that, you know, you don't want to bombard these people with information and constantly sending them emails like, hey, check what's going on at our barn. So I would recommend starting out with only sending a follow-up email right after your event so you can keep the information fresh in their minds. And this can include the follow-up survey. And then after that, I would recommend that it's appropriate to send them an email once a month with new information, whether that be about an upcoming show or an event that you have coming up at your barn. You don't want to spam people with emails, but you also want to make sure that you provide them with valuable resources. Overall, creating connections in person and then continuing that connection after your event goes a long way with people and continuing to help grow your events year after year.
Okay, hopefully everybody can see the flyer. So what I did is I like to play, and I borrowed from the toolkit that is on our marketing page, and the logo. This picture is actually from our first Meet an Arabian Horse event, and then I have just tweaked this over the years with the different days. We have a QR code that brings everyone to our Facebook event page so that they can learn more about it. And then these are printed out on 11 by 17 paper, and it goes up in all of our sponsors, places of business, and the local library, and any place that we can find that we can put a flyer up. So one of the things that we like to do is, number one, let people know it's free, because they're always looking for something free to do with their kids. We do a 3-hour event, and we Tractor Supply hosts us, which is fantastic. And then we just tell them what they can do while they're at the event. So meet, pet, take a picture with an Arabian horse. They can learn about the history, versatility, and personality of Arabian horses. We have face painters. We have drawings every half hour and goodie bags for the first 150 families. And it's free. Free is a big deal because people have asked me multiple times, well, what's it cost to do that? And when you don't charge admission, people suddenly are like, really? So the way we can make this free and easy is by getting a few key sponsors. So whether they are monetary sponsors or they are in-kind sponsors, or they are providing coupons or something for the goodie bags, all of these groups provide something to us. So our monetary sponsors are generally the ones that I put across the top. Columbia Home Pros is owned by one of our members who's a real estate agent. So he and his business partner are our primary sponsors. And when I say primary sponsors, I'm not talking thousands of dollars. None of our events cost that much. We keep our costs really low because we use all of our volunteers, and Tractor Supply provides us with all of the things we need on site. And they do it and are happy to do it because they saw in the first event a 30% increase on their sales for that day over any other Saturday they had in the entire year. So when you put that into perspective, yes, they are in fact texting me regularly saying, hey, when's our event this year? When can we put that on the calendar? We're excited to see you back. And they've been fantastic to work with. So Columbia Home Pros gives us, I think between all of our sponsors, we get around $1,000 to $1,500. And we are able to cover all of our costs. We get the bags donated. We get Como Smoke and Fire is a local restaurant. They give us a buy one, get one appetizer free coupon to put in every bag. And that's fantastic. Our photographer, we pay her gas money to come in, and she volunteers her time and talents. Like I said, JCPenney gives us the mannequins. Level Up is an arcade. I went in and asked them if they'd like to be a sponsor, and they gave me a $5 player card for every gift bag. So literally just fun things. Eris's Pizza is a local pizza place. They give me 3 $10 gift certificates so that we can give out gift certificates to people who are standing in line, which makes it fun for everybody because they're like, oh my gosh, I just got a $10 gift certificate. Hy-Vee gives me a $25 gift certificate. Fringe is a Western wear store that is nearby to Tractor Supply, and they have everything from boots to Wranglers and everything you can imagine in between. They gave us a 15% off your purchase coupon for every bag. So there's just lots of different ways. I have not had a sponsor tell me no. I don't think in 2 years. I've had some that say they don't give money, but they will give something in kind. So whether it's borrowing a tent, because we learned everybody should have a tent because it gets very hot, even in May. Crunch Fitness actually came to our event and brought 2 people to helped us set up, helped us tear down. Lots of different really great community. And I found that if you work with, especially folks in your community that own their own business, they love the idea that they are a sponsor for something that is this simple and this easy. So I'd be more than happy to answer questions if anyone has any.
So yeah, we can feel free to open up for questions. You guys can put your questions in the chat or raise your hand if you have any questions for anything regarding the resources we have, or just general questions on hosting an event.
What kind of success have we seen with these events? Do we expect horse sales? Do we expect people to start riding a lesson program? Sort of what would be the best sort of farm to have an event like this?
I would tell you it doesn't even have to be a farm necessarily. Personally, our club puts on most of our events, which we're not a big club. I think we have less than 50 members, maybe 60 at this point. I'd have to look at it. But we do it more from an outreach perspective. I actually do not have an Arabian lesson program within 2 hours of us. So that has been our biggest struggle. I have had a lot of people who this is their first touch with an Arabian. And I would tell you, this can be for an introduction if you're wanting to grow a lesson program. The number of people who ask about lesson programs while they're standing in line, and my job at the events is normally to just chit chat with people as they're waiting for different events, you know, whether they're waiting in line for a picture or waiting in line for the face painter. Literally, I keep the local lesson programs. Oh, what kind of riding are you interested? Oh, okay, well, I can recommend such and which. And normally they have, at least they are familiar with Arabians, and some of them have used Arabians in the lesson programs. So I would tell you that anyone can put this into, I mean, I don't look at it as a way to sell my horses that are for sale, but certainly I think that would be like a third or fourth step down the road for someone who comes to these events. Does that answer your question, Tina?
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. And I guess I have a question, and I don't know if this is the right time to ask it, but I'll throw it out there. And if it's not, you can just tell me. But I'm wondering if you guys have any thoughts on why and I think this has been happening with all breeds and disciplines. I don't think it's just Arabians. Been seeing such a reduction in the number of horses and people involved in horses and whatnot. And again, I think this is from quarter horses to Arabians to everything.
It is
Do you
equestrian
guys have
wine.
any thoughts on why?
I'll I'll kind of speak up, Tina, and I don't know that tonight on this seminar is probably the place to dive into that, but I think any of us here, Savannah or Michelle or myself, we're involved with the local level committee. We'd be happy to kind of chat about that, but I think Michelle will probably agree. I think that's one reason why the local level that committee that came forth and putting forth these efforts for outreach and meet an Arabian horse events at all levels is we are trying to, you know, take it up a notch and get those people. I mean, for me, I live in Kentucky and I'm surrounded by all the breeds. I'm just happy when we meet someone new that's coming into the equestrian world.
Yes.
So I think, you know, I mean, Savannah, you can stop me if I'm wrong, but I don't know that we want to deep dive into that on this call. But to answer your other question that Michelle had responded to, I think really that you can ask anybody within local level committee or AHA is really our goal is just to get people to the Arabian horse. And we're kind of bringing them all together, and where they go from there, we want to stay on top of that, get that first touch, and then what are we doing with that second touch? Like Michelle, I don't have a program either. I do have some around me, but I have done a Tractor Supply event on a smaller scale, but I have 3 or 4 people that I met probably about 2 years ago, and we're friends now. Their daughter and her son come to our barn to see our gelding a couple times a year. She'll call me up and say, hey, Cora wants to come see her. And they're just now starting to ask about how do we go further? Where do we go from here? So I think bare bones basic, just let them experience the horse, and then we give them the tools of that next step a little bit. So I think it can be, these events can be something to what you want them to be. Maybe someone does have a lesson barn and their goal is to, you know, hey, this year we have, HA has free youth membership, in case anybody on the call doesn't know that. You know, get them in that free youth membership, feed your program, stay in touch with them. And, you know, maybe you do have a breeding program or some old retired show horses that need something to do. So it's a little bit something different for everybody, I think.
I have no immediate question, but I did want to say thank you again to Savannah, AHA, and all the groups that are participating in tonight's call. Just for me as a new Discovery Farm in the last, oh gosh, when did I join? February-ish?
Oh,
And the plan to
congratulations.
host thank you. I'm planning to host my first event is on your calendar. It's on May 11th here in Georgia. I just appreciate all the resources and been glad to kind of put them to good use thus far. I still have some more promotional work to do, but kind of got a nice list of volunteers and a bunch of nice ladies that are some within our club, some without are outside the traditional AHA circuit that are going to be there talking about their particular disciplines and helping me educate everybody in the area about the Arabian horse. So thank you for all that you guys are doing. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. If you have any questions, reach out to Savannah, reach out to myself. We are more than happy to help. I love the events. They're fun. Yes, it can be a lot of work, and we always leave the event exhausted, and we come back, we decompress a little, have lunch, and say, okay, when are we doing this again? And
That sounds a little familiar.
Yeah,
I made mine
volunteers.
probably a little bit long. Mine's a 4-hour event, and I promised everybody a late lunch afterward when we end it too. So I'm looking forward to some good debrief information as well as that survey feedback too.
Absolutely. I recommend getting it catered. Just saying.
Good point. Good point. Thank you.
Well, if there's no more questions, I'm grateful for you guys all coming out and learning more about how to have a successful Meet an Arabian Horse event with us. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My email is listed on the screen. If you guys have anything else you'd like to add, or if you need help with any promotional materials or have ideas for things that AHA can help provide for you guys, please let us know. We're always looking to help improve, whether that be new promotional materials or new items in the marketing toolkit. We're always here to help, so feel free to reach out.